How you doing? This is George of Truck Driver Nation, and what I'm going to go over today is basically going to be about, as you become a freight dispatcher, that you're going to need the owner operators or the carriers in order for you to be able to actually have drivers to load their trucks. I've seen a lot of videos on different approaches, and I'm sorry, if you want to be a salesman. I'm not a salesman. I'm a truck driver, okay? And being a truck driver, I'm not here to play games with you or bullshit with you because if that's what you need, there's somebody to go stroke you and make you feel good about what you're getting involved with as an owner operator, then please don't waste your time with me, or the people that I train, because the whole point behind what you're dealing with as a truck driver is extremely, I'm going to say, it's almost, I would say, graphic. The what it does to your life, what it does to the quality of life that you have, not just you, but your family, your friends, your children, what you're giving up in order to proceed in the field of being a truck driver is extremely enduring. It works on you mentally, physically, financially. Can you be successful? Yes, but if I was to tell you how to be successful, you would think of a lesser quality of person that I am. So the point being is, as a dispatcher, this is what you have to bring to the table to an owner operator. And as owner operators, understand this is what you expect because I'm asking you for a percentage of the revenue, the gross revenue you're actually making each week because you're making it. I'm finding the loads. Does it take me time to find the loads or to find the direct shippers? Of course it does. And, there are certain legal aspects that we have to stay within in order to meet the requirements based that FMCSA has put upon us as independent freight dispatchers that we comply with those. Now, being a truck driver and me driving all those years, I do get it. Whether you're the broker side or the dispatch side or the dispatch service side, I can understand both sides of it. Do I think one is more legit than the other? It comes down to the character of the person that's representing you, whether you're the dispatcher, as myself, dealing with the broker, or it's me or the broker dealing directly with a driver, because drivers do directly go to brokers as well. But the whole point being behind, when I'm dealing with you as an owner operator, there's a couple of factors that we have to agree on or we can't proceed. One is what kind of trailer do you have? Based on the trailer that you have is going to be one of the biggest factors that's going to determine what I can actually gross for you. Even though you can say, well, it's seasons. No, it's not always necessarily seasons. Those can put a little bit of stress on you, but you can battle through those. If you're not used to battling and fighting through anything, then you don't need to be a dispatcher. In fact, you don't even need to be a truck driver. But when it comes to being a dispatcher and you're needing to find the owner operators in order for you to dispatch for them, because that's usually the biggest issue that most dispatchers have is like, well, okay, well, where do I get these drivers? What is going to make me different to set me apart from other dispatchers? Not a damn thing. I'm going to tell you straight. Nothing's going to set you apart. The only thing that's going to set you apart is that money. And then people say, well, money's not everything. Yeah, it is. It's in trucking. Why do you think we're doing it? Okay. Why do you think I'm being a dispatcher? Why do you think I drove trucks? It was all about the money. The best money that I actually made in trucking was actually with car hauling. But that market has changed as well. It's become really strenuous, and those trailers are super expensive because they're specialized trailers. But when I'm coming to dealing, when talk to you about when you're how you're going to find these owner operators or carriers, because if they've got an MC, they're considered a carrier. I don't care if they got one truck. But the way you're going to find this is you have to actually have a pipeline. Now, the way I came out of trucking is I was a recruiter. So I was recruiting for trucking companies and probably some of the biggest scumbag pieces of shit that I've ever come across. Because as I learned what being a recruiter was, I also discovered what they were doing to the drivers to manipulate the situation to throw it in their favors. And you can go, oh, well, that's just the American way. That's business. I don't see it that way. But I do know that when I'm dealing with my owner operators, the way that I get them is that I present them strictly with the opportunity. And I don't sit here and candy coat it. Do you need me to dispatch you, or do you want to just keep running around playing games looking for somebody to help you out? If you want to actually work, and you have to understand, you've got to trust me with your truck. I get that I'm generating the revenue, and if you don't make the revenue, then you're going to suffer. And of course, I'm going to suffer too, but not nearly as bad as you because I know what it is to be an owner operator. It takes a lot out of you because You're having to deal with every aspect of owning that truck. You're not leaning on a carrier. But as a freight dispatch service, I know that I'm able to charge less money than you going to work for a trucking company and you're paying 20, well, 15, 20, 25%. And I've seen it as bad as 28%. Like hell, if I would ever pay anything past 20%, in fact, I wouldn't even pay that much. 15%, you're really asking a lot out of me as an owner operator that I'm going to be able to trust you that you're going to make that extra money that I'm giving you worth you actually returning that plus some as me being the owner operator. You're not going to be able to because most of the dispatchers that you've hired have never even been in a truck. They can't appreciate the situations that we're put into as drivers in order to be able to keep moving that equipment. We're out there 7 days a week. You go home, and that is a fact. Now, as a dispatcher now, I do go home. But thing is, that's the reason I only mainly train truck drivers to be dispatchers because they can appreciate what we've dealt with. We've all dealt with as drivers and the years that we've given up to order to operate the equipment. But now going back to the point where we're talking about, okay, well, how do I engage these truck drivers? Just ask them, do they want a dispatcher? Do you need a real dispatcher? Do you want to keep chasing and playing games? Do you want to, do this, do that? And if you don't have a dispatcher that not only is a good dispatcher themselves, or if they have a workforce backing them, that they have a team that's with them, that what does he do as far as his leadership with those dispatchers that work with him? Me, I lead by example because that's the only way I can do it. Do I actually always get the load trucks the way I would like to load them? Nope, because I have to hand them off to people that work with me because I'm constantly working on, for example, Truck Driver Nation, we actually teach freight dispatching. So that's the whole point behind this whole topic is, when we're teaching you to do this, you got to understand what you got to present to get the drivers that you're going to need in order for you to actually become this dispatch service. A lot of people, and I give you leads since I still recruit for all these trucking companies, that I get all these leads coming in, and people are like, well, you know, um, I'm just giving them leads. I say, well, okay, they're not all owner operators. There is a combination of all these different aspects of trucking of where these people are standing at that given point in their life. They could be a company driver, they could have a SAP being screwed over by a company, or they could be a lease purchase, lease rental, or straight up owner operator. And each thing is going to depend the factors based on what you're able to help them with, because people say, well, here, promise them X number of dollars a week, or they get the service for free. Are you an idiot? Okay. That truck driver knows that you have to actually eat too. Just tell the man. Don't sit there and play games with him. He's not wanting to play games with you. Okay. You came to him offering your services. Don't bring him a handful of basket of bullshit. So, as an owner operator, what I'm guaranteeing is tell me what you have. What can I do to make what I'm fixing to do for you easier? Okay. Do you need me to run your books? What do you need inside the aspect of running these trucks or truck, if you only got one, to make your life easier? Okay. If you see you're having service issues, I don't mind helping you out with the service issues. Me being a truck driver and the guys that I work with, we know what it costs to actually do maintenance on these trucks. So we sure don't want you sitting on the side of the interstate calling roadside service, possibly sitting there a day or so waiting on a roadside service truck to get there just to look at the situation and charge you by the mile based on a baseline rate plus per mile, and then still having to go get the parts to come back and do the service. So, preventive maintenance is obviously a plus inside trucking, especially if you're still in the warranty. There's no real reason not to take that truck back to that dealership. And I understand you can get hung in a line and be sitting there for a couple of days, but the amount of money that you save, you got to get it done anyways. So don't drag your feet and expect it just to happen itself. But so when I'm giving you these these drivers, just ask them that question. Do you need a dispatcher? And once they talk to you, don't sit there and act like you're their best friend. They don't care about you, and I don't blame them. They don't know who you are, what you're capable of, and everything. Even with me, the only thing that precedes what I do is my ability. Well, hell, it's just my overall life. It's mainly been in trucking. So that being said, then I can obviously give you everything that you need, but I also can give you the reason possibly behind who you're working with, what the hell's going on with the problem that you may even be dealing with. Because I've recruited for a lot of companies, and they are some scumbag people out there, dirt bag pieces of shit. So that being said, you have to understand when you're committing yourself to whatever carrier like me says, I don't, I can get you trailers and all that stuff just like anybody else can. but you're going to be leaning more onto your MC because I don't work with nobody that don't have an MC. And as a dispatcher, I wouldn't go buy an MC because the thing is, nobody's going to respect it because remember, they're coming in your dispatch service. If they go out there and they go mess around with DOT and they start getting PSP violations because they're not taking care of their equipment, then it's just eating your time up. It wasted all that money that you spent to get that MC. In addition, now you're building a bad record. So I only deal with owner operators that have an MC and ask them straight up. And they go, well, why you want to have an MC? Well, if you haven't screwed it up, then I can work with it and I can keep you loaded. But you got to be honest with me because if you don't have a good MC, then we need to really talk to one of the other people that we know and see if they're willing to put their MC in a position where they're making some money off you by letting you use their MC. Do they have plate programs? Do they have fuel cards? I mean, what kind of, do they have a tire program, like a maintenance program? Whatever it is, that variable is what they use to actually increase the overall percentage that you're going to pay them to run your equipment under their MC, for example. And so, that's just what you have to bear unless you're going to go out and get your own MC. And if you got your own fuel cards and all that stuff, you can use all that stuff. That's not going to be a factor because the only thing a owner operator is going to say, our carrier, because remember they got their MC, is that, well, they have to run under my MC. And of course, that's a fact because it has to be attached to somebody's MC. And if it, on his COI, he's going to put you on his certificate of insurance for the freight and everything. So why would he want you to run under somebody else's insurance and then come backlashing on him? So you have to understand why they're wanting you to do that. But but back to the point. So we'll keep it, bring it a little bit shorter. Is that when you're doing this, don't make false deals, false hopes, and everything in a market. Can you make more money than a carrier can? Depends on how you're doing it. Okay. One, are you just sitting there living on them low boards? That's dumbass 101 too. Those blow boards are really made as a last ditch resort. You've got to understand how to get direct shippers. By getting the direct shippers, you're dealing directly with those folks to be able to get that freight and talk to other people out in the field. If you got other drivers, hey, what do you know? I got Terry, whatever his name or whoever the scenario might be, they're running from Atlanta to Phoenix, from Phoenix to Chicago, or whatever it might be. Because most of the time you want to get those trucks in some sort of a triangle because it's just going to increase the gross revenue by doing that instead of just bouncing all over the United States. And if you're actually staying within those given regions where you got major cities, then you're more likely to be able to work in those areas and generate the freight for that given trailer based on that time of the year for the season that that trailer's in. So you got to take these variables and you got to look at them. So as we go through this, when I'm teaching all this stuff, I want to see where your head's at. If you're not, your heart ain't into this, being a dispatcher, don't do it. Just, at least stay away from me as a dispatch service or a dispatch instructor because you're going to mess them people up. And they've got a house, they got children, they got wives, they got all the different things that you have yourself that they've got to be able to pay for. So if you're not able to actually be committed to actually generating the freight numbers that they're going to need for that given trailer, then you're hurting somebody. And that's bullshit. If you did that to me, I'd feel some kind of way. And I'd probably scatter your name out there just because you made me have resentment for me trusting you. And I didn't know you from nothing. You sold me a concept or sold me an idea and you didn't present yourself. Now, once you build your name up out there and people do know who you are, and it don't take that long. The numbers is what tells the story. That running your mouth don't do nothing for nobody. So make sure when you're getting to being a freight dispatcher, if you want to go through Truck Driver Nation, please make sure your heart's into it because we're giving you everything you need. All the contracts and everything, we give you all that. You got to have those back office tools. Without that, like your TMS, your CRM, all these different things, whether you want to make your own platform and use it, and which you totally can now. Okay. So don't let people, oh no, you got to get a paid TMS from, whoever. Or what, and if you want to waste your money like that, go ahead. I built my TMS and it took me a little bit of time because it was back before AI was there. So I could actually find the scripts find the code needed to change the blocks and make the cells do what they need to do. Because there's just not a lot of information out there that I've ever been able to find to help me until AI came out. Then you're going to fight uphill battle. But I put all that stuff in there for you to build your own. Now you don't owe nobody nothing. Okay. TMS is yours. But if you want to use those services, yeah, they're great because if you have more than one MC number, it ensures that you ain't got a bunch of problems in it. If you're actually going to start, pounding on truckers and get those guys, give you the opportunity to help them out to keep their trucks loaded, then you want to be able to run each MC number basically in its own account inside that TMS. That way you can follow everything from A to Z through the factor and when everybody's getting paid and all that good stuff. And that way you're not having a lot of backlash because my job as a freight dispatcher is to assist you as much as possible as an owner operator to ensure that you don't have to sit there in a truck stop after you've run all day or you've been chasing appointments, getting there, whether you're picking up or dropping off, and now you got to deal with something because I wasn't able to handle my job as a freight dispatcher. So as a freight dispatcher, you guys really need to ensure to pound on these subjects and get it down into your head because once you got it, you're doing it every day. It ain't like you got to chase this information down forever. But as far as being an owner, being an owner operator on the road, I fell in love with trucks just like everybody else. Thought I was going to make $1 million. It didn't necessarily happen. So I transitioned over to recruitment, which got me over to dispatching. And inside of dispatching, I probably have found my biggest satisfaction out of all the points that we've dealt with as far as being in logistics, just for the simple reason as the drivers I deal with, I can make the choice whether I think we're a good fit or not. If you're not a good fit to work with me because my personality and your personality, if you're going to be hard ass and you know vindictive or always got some kind of secondary whatever about not taking this load or whatever, because once we set the agreement down and you sign what rate you want, what lanes you want to run, what kind of equipment you have, all that good stuff, then it's set in stone. I shouldn't be having to chase you to say, hey, here's the next load. And if I see that you're running good based on your ELD, then yeah, I'm going to stack your loads. I mean, that means pre-plan your loads, right? So if I'm able to pre-plan, then you have less down hours. But like everybody else, I don't really run dirty logbooks or ELDs because I don't get off into that because it's usually your ELD service that we're using. Um, but in addition to being a freight dispatcher from the freight dispatcher side, if you guys run into people that don't want to either be an owner operator no more, or they just got into lease purchase, lease rental, and they decide they want to go back with another carrier, don't worry, I got carriers. So you're making money off that too. So you're not leaving money really laying on the table, and people say, "Oh, that's just too much." I don't see how getting another $500 to another $1,400 being a freight dispatcher held you up. That's good money, okay? That's really good for that's just one driver getting him the orientation. We do everything for them. And basically you just give me a call and we assist you in that until you get up to speed. Because remember, we don't run your company. We only help you build your company. But anyways, I hope that helps you get some understanding about, how to pipeline your owner ops so you can actually get these guys that you need that you're compatible with and get them to moving. And people always say, well, you always got to keep that pipeline going. Yeah, you want to keep the pipeline going, but if you're losing drivers because they're moving away and you need somebody else to replace that, and you can only handle, depending on how good you are, depending on the type of trailer, between five, and I get people say, well, they do up to 12 trucks. I do 7 trucks. That right there, that's my comfort zone. But if you get, you're losing that many drivers and you're having to replace them with new owner operators, I would step back objectively on the subjective side and the objective side and really see what you've done. That these issues are coming along. I mean, everybody's like, oh, it's always not my fault. As a real business owner, you have to take responsibility for the good and the bad. Otherwise, you're not going to get the real results for what you're needing to do to get the feedback for yourself to make an objective decision and make corrections as needed. But anyways, I hope this helped you guys out. What the pipeline actually serves the purpose as a dispatcher to get the owner operators. So you've got a fleet of guys that you can support with your ability to be a quality freight dispatcher and to keep those guys moving. Okay. And you're going to prove yourself just by looking at the numbers. Like I said, the numbers don't lie. So, but if you need any help, please, go visit Truck Driver Nation. That's our website. There's some great dispatch schools out there. I've looked at them. The only biggest advantage we offer outside of us, obviously giving you the in-depth understanding of being a freight dispatcher, is we provide the actual ability for you to access our database because we don't charge nothing for it, because you're already attending the school because you're paying for the school. But to be able to get these folks and just talk to them. Not everybody's going to be the fit for you, but at least you know that if you do lose people, you just say, hey, we need more leads because we don't have the people that we're needing, inside of our fleet as a freight dispatcher. And I give you more, and you work with those ladies and gentlemen to see what you can provide them, and if they agree that you're a good value to them as well. So it has to be mutual, understanding for that to work out, anyways. But if you need help, please go to Truck Driver Nation. If you're going to sign up for the course, get signed up. Everybody that sits there and procrastinates, well, man, I ain't got the money. What we're asking for what you're getting is like piss pennies on the dollar. Okay. We're making money on the back end with you as a freight dispatcher. So if you can't get into this course, please, like I said, your heart has to be into it. Get it figured out. $500 ain't crap. You are an American. You are from the United States. Don't tell me you don't have $500, because I know how much you spend on money on food a week. Okay. And you're leaving your family at the house and all the good stuff that you're missing in life. You can get a lot of things, but time you can't replenish. But anyways, I hope that understands. I hope I come across nice, because everybody says I'm a hard ass. But a lot of times I get the girls to do these videos because they're all nice and polite and all that good stuff. I'm just a truck driver. So when it comes into the day, I'm a truck driver that's been out there and has done it. I'm literally passing the data and the facts over to you inside the industry that we're all dealing with in 2025. But get with me. If you need to talk to me, we can have a one-on-one conference, and we can go over anything you want to discuss, to hopefully help you make a good decision for yourself. But I appreciate your time. Everybody be blessed. And thank you for visiting Truck Driver Nation. And obviously, this is a public video. Obviously, I thank you for taking time to watch this video if you made it all the way to the end. And something about the likes and crap, if you can hit that like thing or whatever it is, apparently that helps my status. I'm not big into this. I'm literally a truck driver. I'm not trying to be a computer geek. I'm not that I don't respect them, because the guys help me out. But I'm just wanting to get to where, I'm helping people become. I'm not trying to send you back to school. I tell everybody this, trying to get you from being in the truck, if that's what you want, to being a freight dispatcher, or if you're an owner operator, help me to get you the freight that you need, because I'm 100% capable. Just, if you decide you want me to freight dispatch for you, please just let me know, and we'll go everything honestly. Okay. If we don't meet each other on common ground about what you need as a owner operator, hey, brother, I get it. It's a hard life out there. But anyways, thank you everybody so much. You guys out on the road, be safe. Everybody coming over the Truck Driver Nation, let's get you schooled up and let's get you to moving, helping out fellow truck drivers and keep them guys loaded. Thank you so much.